public address announcer for your Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is the Leafs Late Night Podcast, your post-game destination. And now, your starting lineup: Roscoe, the Fanalist, Southey, Beener, and Darty Brodeur on the Leafs Late Night Podcast.
Wow. No lead is safe, they say, but leads don't usually get, what's that like? Double it and pass it to the next person? Holy shit, what a game.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This one's not safe for work, I guess. Welcome back to Leafs Late Night. It is Roscoe, the Fanalist, and Beener. It's like we're back to the old times, you know, the way things should be. Post game, we got the peeps here to talk about it. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Damn. Guys, oh my God. What a game. I feel like this had to happen, especially on Joe Bowen's 37th, 100th Leaf game of his announcing career. I mean, he posted a X tweet, whatever you want to call it nowadays, saying a few more goals in the third period would be nice for my 3,700th game. And I did the math. Oh my God. If he covered every game for in total each year, that would equal to 45.12 years.
Well, yeah, I was just doing the same thing, but then there's playoff games too, so it's probably a little... I don't know. You're probably close, but that's insane. Yeah. Absolutely insane. Good for him. And
Best
good
in
for
the game.
Leafs. What's that?
Best in the game.
Yeah, hands down.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's not replaceable. Oh my God, I'm so happy he's still in it. I know his profile says 42, so that's probably more accurate, but damn.
There you go. So the Leafs, first period was, let's just say the Leafs were stuck in traffic somewhere in Montreal still, and they didn't actually show up until the second. Let's just put it that way. The only one who did make it, though, because he took an Uber, was Joseph Woll and maybe Bobby McMahon. Otherwise,
they carpooled.
Shit. Yeah, they carpooled there.
Yeah,
and
they did a shared Uber.
Holmberg showed up a few minutes later on one of those scooters, but otherwise the team was not there.
We can talk about Ubers later. I've got some stories.
Oh, nice. So
love them.
Kirby Dach opens the scoring with. I mean, all these were nice goals, but he had a nice one there from Laine and Guhle. Patrick Laine, I've got him on one of my fantasy teams. Otherwise, I wouldn't have noticed this. The dude has just been a power play merchant since he's been back. I mean, look, with how many games he's missed, take it however it comes. But holy, this dude has just turned into Mr. Power Play.
Yeah, I think since he's been back 17 games before tonight, he scored 10 power play goals. I mean, he's definitely been an asset in fantasy. And then you go a little cold, and then he was out for 3 or 4 games there. Then he came back, and his 4th game back, he scores his 3rd power play goal. So, you know, I was actually warning my girlfriend before the game, saying like, this guy, you know, we've watched the game a couple times this year facing this team because she's new to hockey. And that was the first game of the season where we didn't score, but that was the guy in that purple suit. Remember that? And then they panned to him on the screen, and you're like, oh yeah, that guy. And we didn't face him again last season. Sure. Yeah, exactly. And then we didn't see Patrick Laine last game as well when the Leafs won 4-1 there in Toronto. So, hey, we'll take it all day long. And you know what? Tonight was Joseph Woll's first start at the Bell Center too, guys.
Oh, wow.
Did you realize that?
Weird.
Yeah. And he's 3-0 against the Habs now.
Yeah.
They also said tonight's his 23rd start of the season, and I think he started 23 games all of last year. So pretty big hump to get over there. But look, the first period, just to get back to that, Kirby Dach, Patrick Laine, Josh Anderson on a fucking bad breakaway little thing they let go there. But it honestly could have been 6-0 in the first period if it weren't for Joseph Woll. The amount of insane saves he made on top of it being 3-0 was just unbelievable. You'd never know looking at it unless you watched the game, but you know, kept them in it for sure.
Yeah, no, this first period definitely gave you that sense of doubt, just reminiscent of years past of the Leafs. And I guess this is a continuation of that chat we had last episodes of the differences between last season and this season and just this game as a whole and the ability to come back. I guess is a new identity and a narrative for the Leafs that I'm here all day for. But definitely in that first period, we have Leaf killers like Josh Anderson and Kirby, like fucking dog, Hickory Dickory Dock. I don't know, for some reason this guy scores against the Leafs so often, so it just makes you so frustrated. But yeah,
it was tough watching them in that first period. But look, I said it on Twitter there, or X, I don't care, I'm calling it Twitter. Leafs need to McMahon up because he was the only one, like I said before, that was really putting in the effort, really showed up, and ended up putting away the first goal. So I'm glad it was him that kicked things off because he deserved it. First unassisted goal of his career.
hell yeah, brother. Like the Leafs in the first period, anyways, they played 6 minutes on the penalty kill. We had the very rare Austin Matthews penalty be called, and it was a double stick or double minor for high sticking. I mean, did Nick Suzuki lose half his tooth on that play? I don't know if that was from before or this one, but one of his teeth there were completely chipped in half, and I'm like, oh boy, Poppy. Too strong, very strong. And then just like a couple weeks ago when Jake McCabe had a mouthful of teeth in his mouth guard after losing a couple before he went out on concussion. I'm like, oof. But glad the Leafs woke up in that first intermission. Oh boy.
Yeah, I was just trying to find the other ones there. Sorry, go on, Bean.
No, it's okay. Just to kind of touch on what you were saying there, Steph, this is a complete... It's a refreshing change because we're so used to seeing something like that. Like, oh, they're down 3 goals, down 4 goals. This is basically just going to be a what's going to happen tonight, like car crash theater, right? Watch it to see what happens. Not, hey, just get one, pick away at it. But they never seem to get flustered like some past teams may have. There wasn't a sense at all in this game, doesn't matter what the score was, that they were trying to give up. They were going and going and going, whether it was Bobby McMahon just skating through everything. Like the guy was on fire tonight. I don't know what substance someone put in his water bottle, but he was just on fire.
Secret sauce.
Yeah. I mean, with what everybody was talking about coming into this game, like the last 7 goals were from just Matthews and Nylander. There had to be some fire coming from the bottom 6. So I don't know what incentive they gave those guys, whether it was a couple bucks on the wall or dinner or something, but it needed to happen sooner or later. So I mean, 7 goals tonight from 7 different players. It sure as hell happened.
Berube probably was like, "Hey guys, next guy to get a goal, you're getting a raise." Like, some sort of thing must have happened. Or we're just joking on the side there, but yeah, this first period, man, like just seeing Laine score from Ovi's spot, and then of course Josh Anderson dangling around Domi, literally making him fall on his ass, making him look stupid. I'm like, oh boy, and then of course the Doc first goal there on a delayed penalty call. They have the goalie pulled. It's 6-on-4, and good thing the new rule states that the penalty doesn't proceed if this team scores, right? Otherwise, it could have been 4-0 to end the first.
Yeah, and that call on McMahon for that hook on the hands was, I think everybody felt the same, but that was quite a soft, questionable one, if you ask me. And
yeah.
I mean, to take off the one guy who's really bringing any fire to the team and to put them down a man for another 2 minutes in that first period, it was just, I'm surprised with everything that piled onto them there. I mean, like you said, losing Matthews for 4 minutes, like they were able to kill off these penalties pretty well. And I mean, other than obviously Laine there, but yeah, I'm proud of them for holding on because holy shit, they could have just let this one go really easily.
They definitely could have. The Laine goal, that's like you mentioned, like an Ovechkin spot. That's something, doesn't matter how many times you set up to try to defend it. Doesn't matter if you know it's going there, because it's definitely going there. He's still going to get a good shot off, and he's going to beat a lot of goalies just because he has that type of shot. I know historically he's been a Leaf killer and he is playing for the Habs right now, but on a side note, it is kind of nice to see him back playing and back healthy because he has
Absolutely.
definitely had some struggles. So it's nice to see him be able to at least play the game, and hopefully everything away from the ice is going well for him.
Oh, absolutely. It's always nice to see players come back and succeed. I mean, we all have our biases against certain players, you know, that rivalry between Matthews and Laine. And fun fact, I saw this stat pop up a couple weeks ago. From their draft class, the players selected in the top 10, the only ones that have not been traded are Matthews and Clayton Keller. So that whole top 10 have bounced around the league pretty much. And yeah, but man, I don't know, just watching tonight and seeing the 2 goals going from Laine and Anderson 9 seconds apart, I'm just screaming like, why doesn't anyone have Laine on the other side? Like, why are these guys wide fucking open? Like, come on, we've done this over and over again. But that intermission, I don't know, being that secret sauce or whatever they were drinking, definitely worked.
Yeah, it definitely did. And that's something that has been a little bit noticeable to me. And I'll be honest up front. There's been a lot going on in my life this season. I missed more Leafs games this season than I probably have in the 10 years previous. But it does seem that there is a little bit of a change. And I don't know if that's Chief coming in. No offense to Keefe, because he did have his moments, but there's definitely a different vibe coming from the team. I don't know if it's something going on in the dressing room. Maybe it's the change of Matthews becoming captain. No offense to JT, but even something like that can have a big effect. There's a different vibe around the team, and despite some interesting games where we haven't really got the results we wanted, effort-wise or final score-wise, things seem more positive to me anyways, from what I can see.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think a change of leadership any time after a couple of years can have that kind of effect, whether it depends on the person or not. But I'm glad that it's okay. We talked about this last episode being about with like the high end guys, how it's kind of hard to coach them in a system, and sometimes you have to let them be a little creative and have fun. And I feel like that's the difference in leadership between like Matthews and Tavares. He's more of like a stick to systems kind of guy, whereas Matthews might allow for a little more freedom in how people are playing. Like, I don't know, just a temperature check there. But
oh, he definitely would. And not that JT isn't skilled, but like you said, JT is almost like a machine. Yeah. Right. The way he was brought up, his uncle was the like ridiculously famous lacrosse player. So he's had family in high pressure and high spotlight spots in different sports. So he's been bred to basically be the hockey machine. Like, look at Crosby, look at some of the other Canadian stars. They don't say too much in the media. Like, it's all pretty much scripted, right? Even McDavid, the most emotion you've ever seen out of him was in that behind the scenes series from the final. And the guy was in the Stanley Cup final, so you can understand the emotion.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is. So Matthews is definitely cut from a different cloth. Like, how many guys in their draft year decide not to play for a CHL team or the U.S. national development team and go over and play in Switzerland?
None of them.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, he's different, and it might be that it might have nothing to do with the coach, but it's definitely brought a different vibe in the room.
Oh, I definitely agree. So starting with the second period, like I said, Bobby McNuggets here opening it up 3-1, giving that little bit of hope. Crowd starts to, they're still chanting for the Habs, but you start to hear some of the Leaf fans get back into it. Then we got Nicky Bobby from Ekman Larsson and Holmberg. Man, oof. Nicky Bobby, when he goes on these streaks where there's nothing, but when he does come out of the out of nowhere and put one home, it's always in a really important situation, and you got to love him for it. So Nicky Bobby with his 8th this season. McMahon's got 13. That's crazy.
Yeah, Robertson definitely needed this. I mean, obviously players love to score for their confidence, but we're switching guys in and out of the lineup. I mean, the bottom 6, there's always a spot to fight for. I feel like we can't always rely on our top guns to save the day. And the fact that we had 7 different players tonight, score goals, just it's a huge change. Like it's refreshing, and this is what we've been asking for, because you know what, like sometimes something just needs a change in general, because other teams are literally studying, the pregame of what they're expecting. And if you always expect, Marner or Matthews roaming around the perimeter, like on our power play, for example, like things are going to get blocked. But I felt like in the second period tonight, I don't know, for some reason that hit from Jack-Eye on Reeves just kind of changed the momentum here, because when we ended the first, Reeves he challenged Jack-Eye, and Jack-Eye literally waved him off with the sand. He's like, whoop, whoop, get away from me, like a little peasant. And then he opens up the second period, and then bang, and the Leafs were like, what? Really? Okay, we're doing that? Okay. Bobby McMahon coming down on the rush, using Knies' stick, by the way, because he dropped it center ice, takes one from the bench and scores on a 89 mile per hour shot, literally ignoring Nylander to his side. How big are your balls to do that? Like completely ignoring the superstar beside you and just being like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this myself. And he did. So
yeah, I mean,
who'da man?
He's got a lot of confidence this year, and obviously it's always good to try to avoid doing what the expected play is, which is pass it to the shooter who's got the most goals, top 10 scorer in the entire league. So
right.
If you can catch them off guard by ripping that one past them, then go for it.
Hell yeah.
A lot of guys, and I'm not saying this is him at all, but a lot of guys that, let's say, don't score consistently, like a Nylander or Matthews, and not that I've ever played on the ice with anybody of that skill level, but you can get to a point where if you actually have it in a scoring opportunity, you can have people screaming your name and you just get a tunnel vision that you have to get it on the net. So I don't know if that was kind of that scenario, because it was a great chance. Like even if it didn't go in, it still would have been a wonderful chance. Mm-hmm. So it could have been one of those tunnel vision. Maybe in that moment, he didn't even know Nylander was there.
Totally possible.
So true. But also on the second goal, Robertson, I mean, it's so nice to see the second unit getting a goal as well. What have we always been wishing and praying for? Anyways, for me, it's that big D point shot, and OEL, using his shot, creating this play that, Robertson's in the perfect spot in the slot.
And here's
nice
Oliver
little tip.
toss him.
I'm like, what was that? Whoa! You scared the shit out of me. But
I got a couple new buttons.
Nice. But also Holmberg gets a secondary assist on that power play unit, so that's also a big plus for our bottom 6 there.
Yeah, I love. I mean, whenever there's somebody who's got a good game, it's like the reason that we had the. Where is it?
I'm feeling pretty good.
That thing.
Yes.
For people who, it's not always reflected on the score sheet. So I'm glad Holmberg picked up an assist on this, because he was fantastic tonight. And in a 7-goal game, he's got to get something out of this. He deserves it. So
yeah.
Glad he gets to take 1 point out of the night.
Also on this power play for the Leafs, this is when Patches, our boy Pacioretty, gets shot in the face by Matthews, who goes down on one knee with a big slapper, literally thinking this is going to go in. Oh no, just kidding, off his temple. This beast of a man just shakes it off and goes to the bench and comes back later on with a chin strap bubble. So I'm like, good for you, man, because that could have been really, really bad. That was scary for a minute there.
Patches has to have made a deal with the devil or something to get his hockey skill. It's like, you can have the skill, but you in exchange will be a magnet for injuries. Like it's just you will play about 50% of the career you're supposed to because of that, but you will be able to play very well. Like this poor guy.
I love how he's adjusted his game, because like when he was captain of the Canadians, he was a high skill player, but I don't recall him ever being this gritty
No.
and having this complete of a game. Not that he was ever a one-dimensional player, but I don't like remember this complete of a game from him. So he's not scoring, like he's not going to be in the top 10 in points probably ever again, but he's providing a decent offensive threat every time he's on the ice, and he's being a reliable defensive player, a gritty player that's going to give you some punch without being a liability out there. So it's really, really nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they've been missing in the bottom six, which is somebody that's not just coming up out of the Marlies. Like, obviously, we want to give those guys as many opportunities as we can, and we don't want to fill it up with like your Thorntons and your Marlows and all those kind of guys later on. But having somebody with that kind of experience and that kind of responsibility, like an ex-captain of the Canadians back there, is obviously really nice to have.
Kind of like when we had when Vintage was still playing well for us, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Pacioretty set up for success, and personally, I would love to keep him in the top six. But I mean, tonight he's on the third line again and playing on that second power play unit. The guy, like you said, Bede, throws his bot around. He's fifth on the team in hits with 85 in 31 games played, and like it's just crazy. I mean, every time he's on the ice, he's noticeable because he is crushing guys left, right, and center. Just reminds me to Game 7 against the Blue Jackets there. He actually popped out the glass on a hit as well, like something you rarely see in the league nowadays. So it's nice because, you know, coming into the season, I thought to myself again, like, oh, injury risk. What are we going to do with this guy? Like, is he going to kind of fade off into the season? Or, you know, yes, he's been healthy scratched here and there and dealt with injuries, but when he's playing, he makes an impact and he is noticed big time. And that's exactly what this team needs.
For sure. Okay, so Leafs go into the third period, and it is 3-2, and things get intense. I have Montreal Canadiens Montreal Canadiens fan friend in my my group chat, and I was in the first period like, dude, I don't know if you're watching this game, but you guys are slaughtering us right now. He's like, oh, loving every minute of it. He got real quiet, like really quick. I was like, oh, well.
They usually do.
What do you say? Like, oh, you know, still lots of time left too, is what he said when I was like, oh, you guys are killing us. Like, he's still encouraging, like, oh no, there's lots of time left, but the boys are rolling tonight. And then just disappeared.
Like Leaf Sing said on Twitter, how do you say it was 3-0 in French?
Oh man. So
but yeah,
Nylander with his 27th goal this season. Man.
Oof.
What is the
love it?
Scoring
27th of the season, 10th breakaway of the season, or 10th breakaway goal of the season. I mean, this guy, for a moment there in the this year, he kind of was given cherry picker feels, like he would kind of give up on the play if he wasn't given the puck at the blue line for him to rush up. But I mean, his amulet, if he has one activated in the third, especially because after he scored that goal, he had a nice backhanded attempt and he was all over the place. And this is exactly the type of Nylander we need to see. The first half of the season, Nylander needs to carry into the second half, and because clearly he can do great things. He has an amazing shot. And yeah, since last year, Sportsnet showed the little clip that he is second in the league with breakaway goals. So huge plus for the Leafs.
It's really nice to see him continue his, you know, contract year production, right? Because that's always the fear. You see players on every other team around the league, they get into a contract year, they play their ass off, they get a big contract, and then they actually kind of continue it. Whereas typically with Leaf players, I don't know why, they play their ass off in a contract year, they get a big contract, and then they fall off the face of the earth. So it's really nice to see him continue his play. Not that I doubted him, but we've had a history of being beaten up by contracts in the past, so it's really good to see because he's worth it right now.
Well, and he has a history of being a little up and down, so he could have taken a year of strangeness. So 27 puts him tied for second in the league in goals with 3 other players. Can you name those 3 other players?
One's gotta be Draisaitl.
Draisaitl
he's
is
probably
currently
first.
number 1 with 31 goals. That monster.
Ratinen.
Rantanen is 7th. He's got 25. It's a really tight race.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Scheifele and Reinhardt gotta be there.
Buddy, where's my...
Ding, ding, ding,
Two
ding.
How
of
many
them.
did you say were there with him?
There's one more.
I haven't looked at the tallies in a little while.
Me neither. That's why I was hoping you guys hadn't either.
No, I could throw names out there, but no one stands out.
Known goal scorer, but definitely underrated as far as how many goals. Like at the end of every year, you'll look and be like, "Oh shit, he was like top 5." And you'll
Kyle
forget-
Connor.
Close. You'll be like, "Damn, I didn't know that this guy scores this many fucking goals." But
Oh my God.
reason they moved on from their captain,
You're making me
Braden
so
Point.
stupid.
Braden Point. There you go.
Yes. Oh my God.
50
I
goals.
always forget
Was it
about him.
last year or the year before?
I think so. I think last year. So he's got 27. Rest of the top 10 just because how it opened. So Draisaitl's got 31. Like you said, Scheifele, Reinhardt, and Point. Kyle Connor's got 26. I had to check the Jets game tonight to see if he had scored because he would have been tied with them as well. My God, that guy has a long neck in his picture on NHL.
Yes. He's a league giraffe.
Mikko Rantanen with 25. Cole Caulfield with 24. My God. Kaprizov with 23 and Gensel with 23. So interesting. I also noticed fucking Nathan McKinnon has 73 points. Oh my God.
Jesus.
Like that's like a
Damn.
140 point pace on the season. That's nuts.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield, the reason why the Leafs got shut out for the first time in 227 games on game 1 of this season, gave him that pass because he did change his jersey number to match Johnny Gaudreau's number 13. So I'm like, okay, fine, you're a good guy. We'll let you have this one. But it was the, last time we were shut out to start a season was in 1967, 1968. So it was also the start of the prophecy, as people have been putting around on Twitter with our magical number.
Caulfield had 10 shots on goal tonight.
Whew.
That's crazy. Okay, so it's a tie game from William Nylander from Bobby McMahon. How many did this guy have a 3-point night? He did. No. 2?
He
Two.
had, yes,
two.
2.
Okay. Well, still. Bobby McMahon assisting William Nylander. Then we got, where's my button? Because I get to use it again.
And here's Oliver Lawson-Tossum.
Oliver Lawson-Tossum.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable mispronunciation from Greg's there. With Max Domi throwing it to him. We were just talking last episode about how it's nice to have a defenseman who will actually throw it on net. And I got to apologize. And like, I know Banner, you and I have talked about this, but like coming into this season, Ekman Larsson was like, I thought this guy was going to be gone by the deadline. They were going to have to give up on this, like pull the ripcord because, oh shit, what did we do? Like this guy's floated around since he was first traded from Arizona. Like I had little expectations for him, but my God, I love this guy on D. This was like one of the things this team was missing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's also. Go ahead, Bean.
Oh no, it's all good. I was just gonna say he's got a little bit of a bite in him too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like as captain of the Coyotes, he was an incredible offensive defenseman and super reliable. Like he was a big factor in them reaching the conference finals in 2012. Like the Coyotes reached the conference finals in 2012 against the Kings. Like very few people will actually remember that, but
I did not. I can admit I did not remember that.
Mike Smith in net and Ekman Larson on the back end. Like,
That's insane.
He's always been a good defenseman. Just basically since that year, he hasn't been able to do much, being stuck in the desert. And then he had a rather large contract that wasn't looked on fondly in Vancouver, and Vancouver fans and media can be a lot like Toronto fans and media. They just, if there's one little thing that's out of line with where they think it should be, they'll just pick it apart. Like, I'm sure Myrtle's probably writing some article tonight about how, despite the fact that we had 7 goal scorers, 2 of them were Matthews and Nylander, so we need to do something about our goal scoring. Like,
oh boy. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm so happy to have OEL pop off, and I just hope it gets better, because this was supposedly like our Klingberg replacement, guy who's familiar on the quarterbacking a power play, and we know he has a shot. It's so nice. I was gonna say right before you, Bean, that he has some grit. This guy also throws his body around, and he gives no fucks. Like, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember a game maybe a month ago where he had a penalty and everyone in the arena knew except him, and he just went straight to the bench, sat in his regular spot, and the game completely froze. Like, everyone to the very ceiling was like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, "No, not me." Like, they literally had to force him to go to the penalty box. It was hilarious. But yeah, if this guy can quarterback our second unit or even rotate on the first, I mean, we're laughing. Like, the Leafs just have to have no hesitation. Like, just shoot the fucking puck, please. And what do? It's just a nice little lob shot straight in. So 4th straight goal for the Leafs. Love to see it all day long. And of course, good things happen when you drive the net, where Nylander actually did that and drew this penalty after Dvorak had to bear hug him from, getting him to not score on Montembeault. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad, honestly, that it was Montembeault playing tonight instead of that other kid, Davis, that they've been using, because he's probably going to play tomorrow night on their back-to-back. I don't know if anyone who follows the Canadians and has seen this guy, but I think he's only played 4 or 5 games, and he's got 2 shutouts already. I think the guy's GA is 187 or something. It's insane. So they definitely got something coming up in their system there, and part of this crazy streak they've been on lately has been thanks to him playing 5 of those games. So whoever's playing them tomorrow night's got
4 games.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to give you the stat there. He's played 4 games, has 1 shutout. He has a .98 goal against average and a .963 save percentage.
Ew.
So I was very afraid as well. And also, the Ottawa goalie right now that's filling in for Allmark has been on fire. Yes, with 2 shutouts. His name is Levi Merlainen. And he,
Here,
oh my God.
Levi, Leevi, Levi Merlainen, Merilainen. Yeah, crazy.
He's won 4 of his 5 starts, 2 shutouts, has a .930 save percentage and a 1.84 goals against average. And this guy's a freaking rookie. Or his latest 5.
And I picked him up for tonight, and he let in 5 goals, but they still won. But whatever.
Okay, yeah, this was an outlier, guys. Anyway. Before tonight, he had a 980, okay?
Anyway, enough track. Finishing this up, though, Matthews with a shorthanded goal. I mean, we'll call it a shorthanded goal. It was 4-on-4, and then as soon as the clock ran out on that, he just clapped this one home. That was disgusting.
It was an absolute bomb. It was so nice.
You got the speed on that one?
I didn't see it.
But this was his first shorthanded goal of his career, his 386th goal, and it's his first shorthanded goal. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, so I mean, I'm not surprised it's his first, because this is something I meant to talk about yesterday when we were talking Berube, but the fact that he plays some of these guys on the PK is such a difference. Like Nylander and Matthews, I don't think I've ever seen the ice on the penalty kill in the last 8 years they've been here. So that was cool.
Yeah, no, definitely a huge change from previous seasons, seeing Marner and Matthews on the first penalty kill unit. And I guess tonight is exactly what they wanted to see come out of that because, the Leafs have not been lucky on their power kill guys this year. Like, I mean, we've had success in previous years, and that stat has definitely gone down this season. I think the last time we actually scored shorthanded was our last game against Montreal, and that was game 16, I believe. So in previous years, Matthews, 21-22, he averaged 3 seconds on the PK and then 2 seconds the following year. Then last year it was 42 seconds, and then this year it's 1:48 per game, and that's just continuing to grow. So I'm glad that they're getting some success because I miss our power kill. Like that was stellar at one point, right?
It was like the power play was so bad that it was like, can we just take penalties instead? Because we've been scoring more shorthanded goals than power play goals lately. But now, yeah, you're right. It's just completely died down. They've switched to a defensive penalty kill. I mean, what fun is that? But I think their penalty kill is like 4th or 6th or something in the league. So they're at least doing a good job of it.
Absolutely. But yeah, since he returned from injury, he's on pace for 73 goals. So
wow.
Yeah. But the next goal, oh boy, it always makes me happy to see a fourth liner score. I mean, I think Lorentz played on the 3rd tonight, or was he on the 4th? I can't really remember right now, but damn, when you have a Leaf scoring 6 different player, and it's Steven Lorentz, I'll take it all day long because this guy has the passion. He's a Toronto boy, and yeah, love to see it because again, OEL in on that play. Lorentz getting the puck off the boards, then passing it to OEL just to find Lorentz in the slot and shooting it straight through. And that was for also Marner's 50th assist.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what happened here that caused this. I don't remember the situation, but it was Riley and OEL on the back end, but then it was Lorentz, Marner, and Camp.
Yeah.
I don't know what series of events led to that. If they just came off of a PK, they must have.
Well, so that was for the most of the game. That was the 4th line. That was Lorentz, Camp, and Reeves. So based on a question that we're going to get later on in the show, maybe someone's ice time is getting cut back, and Marner's been having a hell of a year, so give him some extra time.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but I guess Marner just took Reeves' spot there. Oh. So that led to a goal from Steven Lorentz. So at least, something good comes out of that instead of absolutely nothing at all.
It's amazing when you have 3 players on a line instead of 2. What can happen?
I know.
Seriously. Yeah. Oh, boy. But right after this goal, too, I got to say, Joseph Woll making the save of the game with this Suzuki shot. Oh, boy. He just kind of dove, and I thought it went off his elbow, but it was his stick shaft, which essentially bent, and he had to get a new one. I mean, Woll had plenty of great saves this game. This is probably one of the best games he's played this season. Yeah. This one, though, definitely top 10 highlight. I'm going for the rest of the year for the NHL. It has to be what a save! I'm just speechless.
So for any young goalie that could potentially be listening to us, sorry for the swearing that we've done, but that is a perfect example of why you never give up. Down 3-0 in the first period, and he easily could have been, it's not our night, and he didn't. He just focused on the next shot, focused on the next save, and he kept making them. And every single one of those saves he made was important to building the team's confidence back up. And when you have a consistent game where you're battling every single shot, pretty much every single game he's played this year, like he's been on fire, you get those lucky bounces. Like he didn't give up on a single shot all night. There was a couple scrambles, but keep battling, and you're going to have that happen because you're staying in the game. You're staying focused, wanting to make sure you stop that next shot. And a lot of times you don't get those bounces when you're trying to cheat a little bit and you're not focusing 100% on what you need to do, and you give up a little bit on a shot here or there, or try to, like I said, try to cheat to get an easy save instead of the correct save.
Yeah, and look what happens. It goes right through to the rest of the team. They feel like they can still have a chance to win this game. And at one point it was 3-3 and the shots were even at 23, which if you'd asked me in the first period if that was possible, no way in hell. So there you go. Finishing it off, another shorthanded goal. 6-on-4, we got David Kampf throwing one down into the empty net for his third of the season. Kind of a disappointing year for David Kampf, but hey, he'll take them where he can get them. And Matty
shorthanded.
And Matty Nye is picking up the assist on that for his 12th on the season. So 7-3, the final somehow in the Bell Center, where the fans went from really loud to really quiet, and you gotta love it.
First time scoring 7 this year for the Leafs, so that's always a nice little chip to them, especially from 7 different players. Love to see it. And I believe they said on the broadcast that after being down 3-0, the Leafs have never came back while in the Bell Center. So that's a new stat to add to our list.
I think it was 3 goals down at all. They've never come back from the Bell Center.
Wow.
Crazy.
+4 for OEL tonight, and Patches.
And here's Oliver Lawson tossing.
Such a great sound clip.
I love it.
I'm gonna have Patches, a couple other of his mispronunciations ready.
I love it. Oh my God. Patches leading the way with 4 hits too, which, nice. I didn't even think he had a very physical game tonight anyways. Like I didn't notice as much as other games. I guess there was so much going on from literally everyone in the lineup, but it's nice that he powered through. I mean, no points tonight, but every time he touched that puck, of course you hear the boos going on, kind of like a Tavares situation on the island. So we always have to do things the hard way, right? So if you want to boo him the entire time, we'll still kick your ass.
What I thought was pretty funny is the Leafs were on a power play at one point. I think it was in the first period and maybe the second, but Nylander was holding onto the puck, and they were kind of just throwing it back and forth at the blue line, not really doing anything. And the fans started booing, like do something, shoot. And I was like, well, joke's on you guys, Habs fans, because we want them to do the same thing. So please, you can keep booing them to shoot or do something, because please, for the love of God, do anything.
Please, because even with scoring, right, we're constantly reminded year after year that we are in the bottom of the league from defender scoring. So it's also nice to see another defender get one on the board. And kudos to Joseph Woll as well, who's let in 16 goals in the last 4 games. So to win 7-3 at the Bell Center in your debut there, yes, slow clap. Very good.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. Well done.
I will say, my God, I flinched every time he came across crease and stretched.
Oh,
he uses
his whole body all the time.
I love the guy. I want nothing but the best for him. I want him to be our number one. Nothing against Solars. I want Wall to take it and run with it and be that guy, because I've believed in him since he was drafted. But Jesus, every time he slid across, I got worried.
Oh yeah, he treats everything like Game 7, and that's what I love. And like you said, butt clinch about him. So we got a question here from Coaching CJ. Is that the last time we see Reeves? He offers nothing. I don't think it's the last time, unfortunately, but I mean, who knows? Knock on wood here, it could be. We're paying him way too much money to be basically our Chris Neil of 2025, which I didn't think teams still did anymore.
I think we're the only team that does it anymore, so I don't know why we're doing it.
Matt Rempe.
Right. And even Arbor Ijack.
Matt Rempe doesn't take or make $4.5 million a year, and neither does Arbor Jack-Eye. So, and Jack-Eye does more than, would you call him Ijack?
Yeah, I called him Ijack. I'm so sorry.
That's hilarious.
Oh boy. But yeah, Wi-Fi. Reeves Wi-Fi. Let me stick to Wi-Fi, honestly, because every time I look down at his name, my brain gets confused. It's like I don't know, but
Ijack. I love that.
Ijack. Oh my God.
Arbor Jackie's got
638.
a goal, 4 assists, and 100 hits on the season. But Matt
Oh,
Rempe
okay.
has been suspended more games than he's been playing. I'm pretty sure. So
How many games has Jackeye played?
yeah,
I
so
think he
guess
was down in the minors for a handful of games, so I'm not sure.
let me double check here.
I just want to
'Cause-
compare their hits with Reeves because Reeves
Okay.
has played 28 games and has 89 hits.
Okay, so Jackie's played 42 games.
Okay.
So like most
Well-
of the season he's been there.
You know, yeah, Reeves.
Oh, he
sorry,
hasn't
bud.
gone down this year, which is interesting.
Oh, he hasn't? I thought he did.
No.
Oh, okay.
The last
okay.
couple of years he has, but this year he did not.
Yeah, but that's the sad news, Reeves. Like, this could be a really good thing we got going on, but hey, man, like, sooner or later you're going to be cut from the T because, like I said earlier, the bottom six, there's always spots to be fighting for. And, you know, playing 638 tonight isn't going to cut it. And you don't play on the PP, you don't play on the PK. I mean, it's great to see you in our locker room hyping up the buds, or when you're scratched, like high-fiving everyone coming out on the ice. And I know how much he means to the team in that aspect and for morale, but there has to be more for that paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, look, what's he got on penalty minutes? 23 penalty minutes on the season in 29 games played. I mean, he spends a lot of time in the box, which I get it, that's his whole thing. But to have 2 assists and he's -1, it's like that impact just isn't coming from anything, you know? Like,
Yes.
I get what he's there for, but he's not doing it. So I don't know what we're paying him all this money for when we could have some more help, another center, so that when we lose Tavares to an injury or any of the guys to an injury like this, we're not like absolutely screwed, because I'm sorry, but we're also going to have to move on from some other people here in the forward group, like Domi.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it would be nice if Reeves scored a couple once in a while, you know, like how
Exactly.
we've had fourth liners in the past who were nitty gritty, like fast guys, and once every blue moon they would score, and that would be great. But Reeves just, I don't know, like every time he has the puck, if he ever has the puck, it just brings me back to, I believe it was against the second game against Philly or against Carolina where he played. He was right in front of the net and he had such a good opportunity, but he just fumbled the puck. Like, it was just, it felt like he's never touched the puck in his life. And he's like, what do I do with this? Oh my God. Ah! And he just like got rid of it, and it just ruined the whole play. And I feel like there's never a great chance like there was in the beginning of the season where, you know, Lorentz and Reeves kind of had a little bit of chemistry, but then it just went downhill immediately. So we'll see.
look, for a comparable, when, you know, we had Wayne Simmons, he had 96 penalty minutes in 72 games, but he had 16 points, 5 goals and 11 assists. Like, if
Right.
Reeves was at least putting up like 20 points on the season, 15, 20 points on the season, like, okay, fine, maybe you're worth 2 million or less, but still, it's like I don't see the need for that. Like, I don't know. I think the money's better spent elsewhere, but I think you're going to have a hard time moving that contract at this point, which is the tough thing. And the Leafs are in no position to spend to get rid of something, because we've done far too much of that and seen horrible consequences for it. So
Right. And tonight, you know, we could have seen Fraser Minton play. We could have had even Benoit, hometown boy, in the lineup, or Dewar, but these guys get scratched because even Berube said to the media, you know, like, the Habs are a heavy team. Like, we need some muscle in our lineup, but no one wants to fight Reeves, it seems like. And if the buds are getting pushed around, I mean, the other guys have their own backs. So he's completely kind of useless right now, unfortunately.
have to agree. If the only reason we have him is to pull him up to go up against Arbor Jackeye and Matt Rempe, it's like, I don't know. It just seems like a bit of a circus. Like, if to answer this dude, say you go up against a team that has one of these guys, like say Rempe on the Rangers,
Right.
is the way to answer that to bring someone up that can fight him, so that the person that he takes off the ice doesn't really matter? Like, is that the best course of action, or is it to just not engage him? Like,
It's to just not engage them, like
yeah,
because
why
someone like
spend a
Rempe,
roster spot for to just one-on-one him? I don't get it.
yeah, someone like Rempe, they're gonna do stupid things whether there's a Reeves there or not. They're not concerned about going like okay, they might not,
Thank you.
they might prefer not to fight Reeves, but they're not. It's not going to prevent them from doing anything stupid.
Yeah, exactly. As we saw tonight, I mean, Reeves can go up to Jack-Eye when they're down 3-0. The time when you want somebody like Reeves to start a fight to try to change the tide, and the guy he's supposed to go and do that to said, "I'm not fighting you. Look at the score. Like, there's no reason for me to fight you." Okay, so that situation falls apart. We spend, basically a decent second or third line center's money on that. Great, love it.
Literally.
Well, we're only paying him like 1.3.
Who
Reeves.
is it?
Oh yeah,
I thought he was making like 4.5.
$4.5 million over 4 years.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. My bad.
It's
But
still a lot
still.
of money for Reeves, but
It's still a lot of money. 1.35 is still a lot of money.
Yeah.
How many more years is that?
this year and next.
Great.
Okay. Yeah,
Number
no, it's just a
39.
dud. It's just a dud. Even Brian Beliefs, who draws those Leaf comics after every game, had one after one of the Philly games where it was like a boxing matchup between Hathaway and Reeves, and it just said canceled because nothing happened, because everyone has this anticipation and this expectation that there's going to be a fight with the two big dudes, but I don't know, it's just not a thing. And Reeves has not actually had a fight this year at all.
Then
There's
what are we
not
doing?
one recorded fight.
At this
Yeah.
point,
Time on ice per game 7.85 minutes. By the way, this year.
he's got 2 assists in 28 games. Bench him and call up Kyle Clifford if you want grit.
Yeah.
Clifford's
Right.
still on the Marlies.
Is he? Does he just not
Yeah.
have a Leaf contract? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think he's just got an
Yes.
AHL contract. He's got 10 games and 3 goals and an assist.
Nice. Did you see who
He's
the captain
part-time.
of the Marlies is now?
It's Shaw, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Logan Shaw, yeah.
No, good for him. And the Murdog got a shutout last night,
Oh,
so
good for them.
good for him.
I know I keep saying we're going to do this report card thing, but we're already at 52 minutes. So there's not really time to go through the entire roster. Kind of have to do this on a time when there's not a post game, especially one that's as eventful as a 7-3 win over the Montreal Canadiens. So I guess
Can I talk about 2 players first before
we'll
we
do
leave?
that at a different time, and Bean can finish off the show.
So I want to say I don't think it ever aired, but we had attempted to do a couple episodes right at the beginning of the season, and I had predicted that we were going to have a revenge season from a Mr. Jonathan Tavares.
Oh,
And
Yes.
before, I know there's not a lot of proof because I don't think it ever aired, but he has been on fire before he got hurt.
I think I posted all of them. I think it's there somewhere.
Yes.
Potentially. And anyways,
yeah. Never mind. I know what you're talking about. The one
So
that
I
didn't record.
yeah. So, so I just wanted to touch on him. Hopefully he gets better soon, because despite what everybody was saying about him being washed up and him being done, he's been playing great. Taking the C away from him doesn't appear to have affected his play at all. And then another conversation that I didn't think I'd ever be wanting to have, without looking it up. Do you know who leads or who's the worst on the team in plus minus right now?
I know
Morgan
who
Riley.
it is because I looked at it earlier. It's Morgan Riley. Do you want to know a fun fact about Morgan Riley? He is the only player in the top 5 of the 2012 draft that is still playing in the NHL.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Wasn't that the Yakupov draft?
That was the Yakupov draft.
Oh God.
So the top 5 in that draft, now Yakupov is currently playing in the KHL for Omsk Avangard. He has 11 goals, 8 assists in 20 games, 19 points. That's pretty good, actually. Second overall, we had Ryan Murray, who is currently an unrestricted free agent, has not signed with a team this year. Third overall, we had Alex Galchenyuk, famously now in the KHL. 24-25 through 47 games. He's got 18 goals, 14 assists for, I don't know how to say that. And then fourth overall, Griffin Reinhart, currently not playing and hasn't since 2022. And then fifth overall, we got Morgan Rielly. So he is the only one still in the NHL. Isn't that crazy?
That was such a weird draft.
So it is, because the farther down you go, the better it gets. And you
like
would not
Rielly
believe
and
some of the people
Hampus
that went.
Lindholm. Matt Dumbo, okay, he's petered off the last couple of years. Trouba, Philip Forsberg at 11.
It's the Cody Ceci, Tom Wilson, Tomas Hertl, Toivo Teravainen, Andrei Vasilevsky, Scott Laughton, Mark Janowski, Olli Mata, Mike Matheson, all in a row for me.
Yeah.
Like there will be like documentaries done on who screwed this up. Like, who were the scouts that said that these guys were supposed to be it? Like, what happened to these guys? Like, what factors at home and with the team behind closed doors led to, like, it is insane that
Jake McCabe and Anthony Stolarz in round 2.
Yeah, like I said, one after another. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
What teams did they go to again? Like Anaheim and
McCabe went to Buffalo and Stolarz went to Philly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, all I gotta say is get well soon, JT, because you're definitely missed on the face-off dot. That was probably one of our weakest points tonight, with 41.8% on the dot. This year alone, he's been 56.9%. Definitely missed there, and also he leads the team with 2 hat tricks. So totally agree. This guy's on fire. He definitely stepped up when Matthews was out on injury for a while there. And yeah, it's like whenever Matthews is gone, even with Marner, they just activate their next level amulet, and just he's playing like as if he's in his prime. Always wish the best for the guy. I mean, he's a point per game player, and obviously, I hope he can sign for a little less than half of what he's getting now to stay on this team and hopefully retire as a Leaf, because who wouldn't want JT to retire as a Leaf? And yeah, but that Morgan Rielly convo, it hurts. It's tough, but it's reality.
So he's minus 15 on the season. The next closest to that is Philippe Myers at minus 5. How is that possible? Like, there's 2 defensemen on the ice, unless they're on the special team, and those don't count. So how is that even physically possible that he's been on for 15 less goals for than against, but no other defenseman has?
And then leading the team in plus minus is Tanev, McCabe, and Ekman Larson.
This is what I mean. It doesn't, the math doesn't math out. Like, okay, defenseman, minus 15 for Rielly, Ekman Larson plus 13, Tanev plus 16, McCabe plus 14. Who else is there? Timmins is plus 5. Benoit's plus 2. Myers is minus 5. The only negative defenseman is Myers. So who has been on the ice with, like, has Morgan Rielly been out there alone for all of these? Like, I don't understand how this works out. Like, the amount that they have to be switching his partners, and that those partners, whoever they're with after him, are on for goals for. Like, this stat is actually staggering. Like, if you break down, like this basically means that other than the 15 assists, and maybe not even the 16 assists that Rielly's got and the 5 goals, because the assists, you don't even know if he was on the ice by the time the puck went in. Those 21 combined goals and assists there for his points are potentially the only goals he's been on the ice for all season. Like, this is mind-boggling. Like, how do you manage that?
And unless something's changed, if I remember correctly, power play goals don't count as a plus.
That's what I mean. Is because that's the only time where he's the only defenseman out there. So this doesn't make sense.
Unless there has been, we have been scored on while we're on the power play, and typically he's on the ice during that. So
does that count? I guess it would.
Oh, if you get a goal against on a power play, that would definitely count as a minus.
I guess it does. So, I mean, they've gotten a handful of them, but not enough that he's minus 10 over the next defenseman, and he doesn't play with Philippe Myers. So How did this happen? Like, what is going on with Morgan
Mhm.
Riley this season? He's got 21 points in 47 games. That's less than half a point a game for a guy who has finished seasons with like 68, 41, and 58 the last 3 seasons. So, what's going on here?
And he actually started off this season with a career high in shooting percentage at 11.1%. And then
Right.
he scored his 84th goal of his career and passed Thomas Caberlet and Brian McCabe for sole possession of 5th all time in scoring among Leaf defenders. And then I don't know if it was like the change up in partners, because it's always a
It's always
merry-go-round
about his
and
partner,
yeah.
though. Like, how
I know
many
it.
times can we use this excuse with him? And I'm
It's
guilty of this too,
yeah.
but like, it's 2025 now, which is insane.
Right.
He is the longest tenured Leaf. We're talking about the 2012 draft. That was 13 years ago. How many years is it going to be while he just doesn't have the right partner?
I know.
He has literally the people that we've earmarked as it has to be one of these guys. He's got his pick of the litter now, and none of them, whether it's we got to go defenseman, let's give him Benoit. Oh, we got to give him someone even better defensively. Let's give him Tanev. Okay, let's give him another puck moving defenseman. Let's give him Like nothing has worked. I do not know what to do about this anymore.
Can I say one thing though that's changed with him this year? And I almost don't want to go down this road.
He's a daddy.
I knew you were going to say that. I was going to say, is it that he has a kid? I swear to God, if it's that he has a kid.
He's up with the baby at night, guys. Give him a break. Like, Tessa can only do so much.
Well, we got
So
4
he's a
more
supportive
years.
dad. And he's changing shitty-ass diapers. Maybe he just got some shit stain in his brain. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I only wish him the best because Mo's our boy, right? But it sucks. Like, it hurts. He's bumped off the power play. He was already, Berube addressed the media about this yesterday or today, whenever it was, saying like, I had to talk with Mo, and Mo's in that point of his career where he doesn't care. He just wants to win. So if he's, he can't be heard about these changes in the lineup, because at the end of the day, we all want to win. And if he's going to be a good sport like that, then fine. Play on the second pair, the third pair, whatever it is. But you're right. Like the minuses, he just appears like Casper whenever we get scored against, because even in the last 10 games, I saw this stat, Leafs percentage with Riley, 0.612, without 0.800. And then Leafs are outscored 10-1, 5-on-5 in their last 10 games with Riley on the ice. But with Riley on the ice, without, they are 1 goal, or they are 17-10. So it's just, the differences are insane. It's, the eye test doesn't do it anymore. He's slow. He's not covering his man. It hurts.
What I'm worried about is once you're not the number 1 defenseman, you have to be a little more defensively responsible. Like we've seen this happen with a lot of puck moving / offensive defensemen. I don't know what to really call him, because he's not like a top tier offensive like Cale Makar or Erik Karlsson type defenseman, but he's also not really like the two-way kind of like Pietrangelo type. I don't know. He's somewhere in the middle there. He doesn't have the shot, but he's a good playmaker. He's his own kind of type of thing. But what happens with those types of defensemen as they have to move down to that like second pair and like off the power play and adjust to responsibility roles, like this is when they start to lose confidence and falters, because like they've never had to do this in their game. And we're seeing this with Erik Karlsson right now, where it's like when you're not just quarterbacking the power play, taking shots or passing it off to the person who's going to take the shot, like what is your role here? And you really got to figure that out. So, I mean, after this long on the team, I think it's going to be tough for Riley to adjust to that, as much as he's okay with it, or as much as he says, I just want to win, doesn't matter. I think it's still a tough adjustment to switch into a completely new role like that. So I'm interested to see how the next couple of years for that go. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. One really good thing, though, is who did we talk about earlier in the episode? OEL.
Yeah.
OEL went through that change. So having someone on the team who has been there, they were the number 1 on a terrible team for the longest time. And then now they're not the number one. Well, okay, on the Leafs, he's been playing well enough to almost be a number one. But he's gone through in Vancouver and Florida of, not being the guy, and he's had to adjust to that. So maybe there's some hope from I love the guy. I don't want him gone, but he's had 5+ seasons in his career as a Leaf.
Yeah, and what I'd like to see the Leafs D transition into with this new lineup is kind of like what the Jets have, where you've got both Morrissey and Pionk that split that kind of like offense/defense role, and then they have what's his name? Oh my God, I'm blanking on it. Who's the other fucking big guy there on D?
The one who's only played 2
Jets?
games? Oh, that's what I meant for us.
Oh no,
Logan Stanley.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, just like having two, instead of just relying on one person for scoring and everybody else is just the responsible D, like kind of splitting it up by committee instead of having like a clear number one guy. So like you said, like OEL's been playing up to that. Like, if he starts to slow down a bit, like have Riley and Tanev and the others be able to pick that up. Like it's nicer this year. Feels more comfortable instead of feeling nervous with 2 of the 6 guys that are on the ice, and then comfortable with one of them and okay with the other 3, like we've had in past seasons. That's the thing, is there's no like, oh my God, what is he going to do with the puck on D this year, which has been so refreshing. Like there's been a couple whipping boys for sure, and unfortunately it's kind of turned into Riley, but there's no like, oh my God, Hall, oh my God, Dermott, oh my God, like we got rid of all of those. There's no Liljegren mistakes. There's no amateur hour mistakes on D anymore. There's a couple. I'm not going to say there's none, but there's no person who is kind of like, there's a 65% chance they're going to make the wrong decision with the puck.
Yeah, there's not a consistent, oh shit. When,
yeah. Every time they touch it, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, Jake Gardiner, Justin Hall.
Yeah, exactly, right? We've had one on the team every year for probably 15, 20 years. So,
unfortunately, I had a guy comment on a status tonight on Twitter saying, when did Riley become Jake Gardiner? And yeah, it hurts again, but hey, I hope they can turn it around. And if the offense anyways can spread out through the D, I mean, we're laughing because we have a solid pair in Tanev and McCabe. I love to see Myers out there using that huge shot. And if OEL can just lob that puck towards the net, if he wants to quarterback that power play, or even, McCabe had an awesome one-timer opportunity tonight, like right on the side of Montembeault. Like if everyone can just shoot the puck a little more, like stats will obviously increase and keep that defensive play going. I mean, it's a plan for success. But anyways, whoever wants to keep their power play spot, I mean, it's still a competition, right? Like just like our bottom 6, same with our second line. It's always a continuous competition, and we want that. We want our Leafs to stay competitive, and otherwise, we have a bunch of Marlies waiting. They're itching. They're waiting to come up. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Unless anyone has anything, like we get out of here.
Yep.
So last bit of news, TikTok is officially banned south of the border now. It went dark about 20 minutes ago. So I guess you know what? Fuck it. It's still in Canada. I can still post some things on TikTok. I can try to get back into that. You know what? Now that there's no Americans on there, we can share the recipes for like maple syrup butter and like all those things that we don't want them to know how to make.
I saw a post, someone saying they'll screen record their TikTok, $70 per 60 minutes. Sell it to Americans. So that could be a little side gig on the side as a hustle.
Oh man. Also, Washington Commanders just beat the Detroit Lions to advance to the NFC Championship. Crazy upset. Well, I mean, not that crazy, but crazy enough. High scoring game. I like football now, sorry.
Oh.
I benched Josh Norris today in fantasy and he scored 2 goals. I'm pissed. Anyway, we're out of here.
Oh, a lot of games tonight.
A lot.
Actually, 15
It's like
games.
too many. Too many.
Too many.
It's hard to bench people when you have to, you know? It's like I don't pick people for my team because they're benchable pieces of shit. I pick them because they're good. Like,
Right?
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Leafs Late Night, your night of post-game podcast. Available after every game on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and more.
Something funny.
Love you, Marty.
Go, Leafs, go.
Oh, Justin, what do you think of my new setup?
It's not too shabby.
I